Hi, welcome to Coffee with Kim. I am Kim Bassett, your host. I am so excited for today. This is going to be a little bit different, and I love finding these little gems of people who do something a little bit different. I'm going to read a little bit of this because it's 75% of all businesses will be out of business in 2 years if affected by a disaster and you don't have a plan. So if we all could experience that sometime in our life, so this is a show for all of us. Today on Coffee with Kim, we will be talking with Coni Meyers. Coni is a 5-time international best-selling author, speaker, trainer, crisis management specialist, and kick-butt leadership clarity strategist. Coni has spent over 40 years supporting thousands of individuals and businesses. Her vision is to help 30 million people be better prepared for disasters and other crises. Coni, welcome to Coffee with Kim.
Hi, thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Coni. I love being able to celebrate people like you here. You do so many wonderful things. And, the great thing about it is we get to pick one, right? And I get to know you with that and discover there's a whole treasure trove of information from someone with experience like you. So like we do on Coffee with Kim, we are going to have you tell your little bit of your story so people can get to know you.
Well, I have to tell you, I always thought I was just a cat with 9 lives with all kinds of different careers and things. And it really worked out that everything I have done throughout my past life, from the time I was in my early to mid 20s, everything I have done from my accounting and my sales background, I was an insurance salesman. I had my own companies. I had 2 of my own firms, as well as couple of consulting firms in the insurance arena. I was a FEMA inspector and trainer for 7 years. I helped 2 companies go from the local market to the national stage. One was a national home inspection business. At the time, it was the largest in the country when we sold back in the 90s. And I was a founder, and we set up a company that it does online platform education back when it was still a new thing and it wasn't a common thing to do. So every bit of that. And then my husband passed away 10 years ago, and I had to reinvent myself. I found out that my old life, being a workaholic and living by default rather than by design, I became a life coach, an executive coach, and a leadership coach. I got 3 different designations. But every bit of that is what brought me to what I'm doing today. If I hadn't had that experience, if I hadn't had that training, I would not have been able to write Crisis Knowledge Management Certification Program. So it's really, my whole history is because I bring to me today.
I love that. Everything that you said, like our history should not be a mystery. And that is why I do what I do, right? And have this show, because I don't want all these beautiful people like you that have these experiences and all these gifts they can bring to the world. And I'm so excited to delve into more of this, because our first conversation, about this, I didn't even know any of this existed. I mean, you think about it. I mean, you hear FEMA, right? I lived in Texas for, 10 years. And, when Katrina hit, we were there, and all you hear about the disasters and things. But if it doesn't hit you at home, you don't think about it. Would you say?
No, absolutely. I mean, until I became a FEMA inspector, I mean, yeah, you hear that whenever there's a presidentially declared disaster, you hear that FEMA goes out and does inspections, but you never understand what that really means. And the FEMA is actually the first line of recovery after the Red Cross and the Salvation Army.
Wow.
And I mean, as a FEMA inspector, the things that I saw, I was all over the world. I was in Guam, I was in Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, all over the United States, doing everything from hurricanes to floods to tornadoes to winter storms. You name it, I did it. And it's when you realize that, and from that time, I always wanted to write a book to let the consumer know what they didn't know about FEMA. And that didn't happen until, as a matter of fact, the book is just now going to be coming out probably by the end of July. So it's been in the works now for a while. It's called When the Unthinkable Happens, Be Prepared, Be Ready. And it has the tidbits on, if you're a consumer or if you have a business, some of the things you really need to know to get yourself ready and how to recover.
Right. And I think a lot of us experienced that this last year, right? And still experiencing it.
Yes,
It
definitely.
it's hard. I mean, I would think this would be considered a disaster. It may not be a storm or, a hurricane or anything like that, but it has been a storm that
Oh,
has rocked us, right? In a
well,
different way.
there's natural disasters and then there's man-made disasters, and pandemics are considered man-made disasters. So, I mean, so is cyber crime,
Yeah.
so are mass shootings, power outages. Those are all man-made disasters that cost a lot of money, can cost a lot of lives, and if you have a business of your own, that you really need to pay attention to.
So, what are some of those like top three things? I'm sure that the list is very long, but what are the things that you want to bring to this audience and say, okay, guys, you really need to pass this along and get clear with it yourself or get in touch with me?
Well, first of all, you have to have not one emergency kit, and only somewhere between 30 and 35% of people say they have an emergency kit. But number one, you need to have 4 emergency kits. You need to
Oh,
have an emergency kit that has everything in it, the food, the water, the change of clothes, the whistle, the extra way of communicating. I have a whole list of what you need to have.
okay.
And then you need a go bag, where if you have to leave immediately, like if it's flooding or if there's an earthquake or there's something else going on, a hurricane, you need a bag you can grab and leave. And that's just the bare essentials.
Okay.
Medicine, your toothbrushes, your communication list, just bare minimal stuff. Have a list of that. You need to have
Okay.
a kit. What does that look like? What part of the country you are, go into each, right? The kit is, you need to have a
Okay.
kit for your.
Uh-oh, your internet's kind of glitching. So let's see if we can reset it a little bit here. Are you still with me, Connie?
Are you? Can you hear?
Your video's frozen.
No. Oh no.
Okie dokie. Well, let's see if we can just give it a minute here. You're starting to move, but it's glitchy. It's
I'm
okay.
sure now.
I can hear your voice better than I can see you.
Dang.
It's okay. Stuff like this happens. Let's just take a breath and see if we can get it going. This is just stuff we can't control. Is our internet? Oh, there you are!
Ah,
Yay!
fabulous. Okay,
Fabulous.
I'm back.
Okay. So we were on the list.
Yes. Okay. So you need to have the regular emergency kit that has everything in it. Then you need to have a go bag that just has the bare essentials. That if you have to leave right now, you're not thinking about putting stuff in the car and driving it away. That's a second kit. The third kit is you need to have a kit for your car. And depending on what part of the country it is, depends on what you're going to put in that kit. And then the fourth kit is you need to have a kit for your business. If you work or are outside of your home, you need to have a kit for your business. And then if you have children or you have seniors living with you or you have somebody disabled, they each need to have their own kits. So you can have a lot of kits that you have to prepare. But those are the 4 essentials. And I have on my website, you can download a complete list of that, including questions you ask to create your plans, your communication plan, your parent plan, your kid plan, your business plan of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. As depending on the type of business you have, or if you're just working somewhere, what is it that you need to do to be prepared? But that's number one. Number two is really making sure that you you do the drills, so you know exactly what's going to happen, so you can respond rather than running around in a circle trying to think about what you're going to do. And that boils down to number 3, and that's mindset. The most important thing you can have is a resilient mindset. And you get a resilient mindset by being prepared, by having your kits, by having your plans, by doing the drills, so that when something happens, you just automatically go.
Okay.
A really good example of that is my partner. She lives in Southern Cal, and they had a little bit of a shake here a couple weeks ago. And she said before, when that would happen, she'd stand up, run around in a circle trying to think about what she was going to take, right?
Right.
This time, she had her shoes by the bed. She put her feet in her shoes, and she knew exactly where her bag was. And she said, I just reacted, which isn't that what first responders do? I mean,
Yeah.
they drill, they know exactly what they're going to do. And you stay in that present moment. You don't go panicking. It's
Right.
very important that you keep that mindset. So I have an acronym for that. It's called
Okay.
STOP. And STOP means, first of all, stop what you're doing, and then take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Then observe first what's going on inside of you, and then observe what's going on in your surroundings. And then P is proceed and act. But if you do that, if you just take that 1 minute, then I don't care what it is you're doing, whether it's a disaster or making a decision of some kind. If you just do that alone, you will stay present. And that could be the difference between surviving and not surviving. It could be the difference between recovering and not recovering. Like we talked about earlier, 75% of businesses.
Yeah.
So it
That's
starts
a lot.
with that mindset. It is a lot. And it really starts with mindset. So there's all of that I've got that they can download for free.
So I know, there's there's the East and the West Coast, there's the Gulf that has stuff, and then you sometimes get in that middle stuff where, you have the tornadoes and things like that. But then there's a few of these states that there's nothing too major that happens. So I think people get into that complacency. It's like, why do I need a plan? Right? Do you have any stories of people that you've talked to that have experienced something happen and then they're like, oh my gosh, I wish I had planned?
Oh, I have a great story. I have a good friend who has a real estate company in Malibu, and she was born and raised there. Her mom still lived in the family home.
Okay.
And her husband and her 2 little girls lived about 3 or 4 miles away. She had an office in Malibu that had about 30 agents in it. And when the Malibu fires came through, her mom's home was burnt to the ground. She thought her and her husband, because the fire was going a different direction, they weren't too worried about it because they were like 2 or 3 miles away. So they weren't too worried about it. And then people in her office had their phones either destroyed or damaged. And in the middle of the night, they got a knock on the door that said that they had 15 minutes to get out. And she spent the first half of that spinning around in a circle, trying to think about what to take. And when they got to the shelter, her little girls were like 4 and 6, something like that at the time. They got to the shelter and she had nothing for her children. Nothing.
Oh.
And I mean, she talks about it all the time. If I'd have been prepared, I would have known exactly what to do, and I would have had everything for my children. I wouldn't have gone into panic mode, because that's what happens. We go into panic mode. Yeah. And when we go into panic mode, we can't think. And I want to say this about the planning and the preparation. It doesn't have to be a disaster. It could be any kind of crisis in your personal life. It could be any kind of a crisis in your business. And by preparing, you're thinking about all these things that could possibly happen. So it's not just about whether or not you're in an area that has a lot of disasters. 99% of all counties in this country have experienced floods. We have them here in Vegas. They're under more control now than they were, but that we still have them. We still have people die because they go drive into these flash flood events.
Yeah.
So we have fires. I mean, anywhere in the country you go, you have these natural disasters. But even above that, I mean, we've just experienced a pandemic, for God's sakes.
Right.
And then you've got, God forbid, something like this happens, but mass shootings.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a business somewhere, you really need to take that seriously. We all experience power outages. If you have a business or you're working out of your home and there's a power outage and you're depending on your business for your income, what are you going to do? It's very expensive, and they're really on the rise because the grid is so messed up.
It is.
And then you have cyber attacks. What are you going to do? How are you going to handle it? And so all of those things, there's, like in California, they have refineries exploding. So you have hazardous incidents that happen. So you can have in your home, you can have a chemical disaster. And most people don't realize that fingernail polish, hairspray, obviously laundry soap, that kind of, those are all hazardous materials. And if we have children, we better know and have a plan of what we're going to do. All of those things come into play. So it's not just whether or not we're going to get a flood, or whether or not we're going to have a hurricane, or whether we're going to have an earthquake. 40 states since, I forget the year, I think it was 1990. 40 states have had earthquakes.
Oh, wow.
The number one state for hurricane or for earthquakes is Alaska. They've had 9,070 during the, I think it was the last from 2016 to 2020.
Wow.
Oklahoma is second with 1,715 earthquakes. California is at a measly 1,545. I mean, we all think earthquake California.
Right. Absolutely.
But 40 states have experienced earthquakes and have the ability to have a major earthquake. So it's not just because we think that we're perfectly safe. Believe you me, when you don't think something's going to happen, like a pandemic, who would have thought that we would have had this pandemic, right?
Absolutely.
And when we were all in lockdown in the middle of March, did we think we were still going to be a year later in lockdown? No. And they're saying this is not the last pandemic. So we just, I don't care who you are and what part of the world you are in. It does. You got to take this stuff seriously. Everything is on such an increase. It's frightening.
It is.
It's gone from 46.7, I think it is, billion dollars per year for $1 billion weather-related disasters to 123 point something $billion per year.
That's like per 3 year. Times.
Yeah. I mean, it's craziness. So, and then cyber attacks, they're expecting 2021 to cost $6 trillion, trillion with a T. And that to increase 15% over the next 5 years. So it's not something that is not, it's not going to happen to that person over there. And it's not if it's going to happen to you. It's when it's going to happen to you. So just it's kind of like when you buy insurance, it's having that peace of mind that you know that you have that. And the main reason people don't do it is because it's just like a will. You know, you don't want to write a will because you have to think about dying.
Right.
Well, in order to be prepared, you have to think about what are my risk factors? You know, in my area, what do I have to be worried about? And then you have to think about those. And what if it happens to me?
Yeah. We don't want to think, and I love that you break that up. We don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. Right. But
that's my biggest challenge. FEMA calls it preparedness procrastination.
Yeah. No,
and it's absolutely true.
this is a huge topic and so impactful. I am so grateful that we have connected on this because my head's, I don't know if you can tell, but my head's just spinning right now. And really, this is an important topic and we need to get this out there. So what are some things that you are doing? You've got, you do lots of different things, Connie. So, you can talk a little bit about kind of which different things you do, but how do they're like, okay, Connie, I'm going to go to your website. I'm going to get a list. I mean, but really, what do you do to help businesses to have that help with their, bottom line, right?
Well, I have to tell you, when I originally wrote the first course, it was for the California Association of Realtors. And I actually presented the course live in the fall, in October of 2019, the first course. It became a 4-course certification because I realized there was a lot more that needed to be said. Yeah. So I have the Crisis Knowledge Management Certification Program. And one of the things that the realtors were asking when they were signing up for the classes, well, I understand this is important, but how's this going to help my business? So the number one question I asked myself when I was writing the course is, okay, how can I help people make a difference in their communities, help them improve their business, help them to be prepared, and help them give back all at the same time? Wow. So what I've done is I've written a course that can be customized depending upon the area you're in. And you can take that course out to your community. You can take it to your civic organizations. You can take it to churches and schools and anybody that's in your network. And you're out there being visible. And then every single month, I add education so that you have something new. There's an article that you can send out. There's a flyer you can send out. We provide the slides. You can do the pre-record. I pre-record it for me, so you don't have to do anything. You just send out mine. Or if you want to be out there in your community, you take the slides and you present it yourself. So I have all of that available out in your community, making a difference. And so it's really important. I mean, how about if you can increase your business, you're going to save lives, you're going to save real property, and you're going to save tons of money. So when it comes time for your services and you're out there giving back like that, who are they going to call?
100%.
They're not going to call anybody but you.
Yep, absolutely. Oh,
so
wow. Okay, so we just give us a minute, Connie, because you've frozen again. There you go. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm here now.
Awesome. And we froze again. Oh my goodness. Well, I know
what is going on.
I don't know, but all I know is you have given so much value here, and I am, for one, am very appreciative of it. So I also want people, in case we don't get glitched again, we can still talk up into our end of our half hour, but I want to make sure they know how to get a hold of you. So we are going to work on that right now.
Okay.
So Coni Meyers is on Facebook. All right. So you can just look up Coni. Just remember that is spelt a little bit different. And then also she has a gift for everyone. If you go to ckmsolutionsgroup.com, you can also download the gift there. Are you back? You're back with me.
I'm so sorry.
Yay! No, it's all good. Hey, it's like we just improvise, right? This is why
you
it's
have to
all
go with
good.
the flow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, I've gotten so much out of this that this is just like amazing. So I appreciate you taking the time here. Is there any other some things that you can talk about, other things that you do, or any more about this, and since we have you live again?
Well, I think I was about to talk about the book that's coming out.
Yes.
And it's going to be available on Amazon. My other books have all been bestsellers, so I'm going to make sure this one is a #1 bestseller. And if you have a business and you want to put a chapter in that book, you can be a co-author of a #1 best-selling book. And no better, as you know, Kim, there's no better marketing piece. You become an expert or not is, but I do on Saturday and beyond, and it's turning 7. And it's really all.
We're glitched out again. So what I want to just reiterate that you can go on Amazon if you want to contribute to this book as a business. She is saying that you can do that as well. Be sure to reach out to her on Facebook. She responds really, really quickly when you get with her. And make sure you go for the gifts as well. But I think you're back. Are you back?
I don't know.
It's okay. No, I understand. It's really hot here, everyone, in Las Vegas. And sometimes when we get this heat here, it takes a lot of things down. So that's why she's losing a little bit of her bandwidth. But I just, for one, want to express my appreciation to Connie. Oh, are you there?
I'm here.
Yay. Okay, I can see you now. So make sure you get in what you wanted to say real quick.
Oh, I just reach out to me, and I would like to help any business that wants to know what they need to do to be prepared. Just reach out to me. If it's a 1-person business or a 1,000-person business, I'm here to help.
Oh my goodness. And there's lots of other things that you can learn about Connie on her Facebook. And she has many other talents and things that she does. And Connie, just thank you so much for coming on and sharing. Oh, we got one comment here. Oh, so Don Holly, he is an ex-veteran, and he's saying nice because I know he is one that would love this, for one. So he's he's definitely one of our prepared guys, and he's always helping us out with the tech, with so many different things. So I love all these beautiful entrepreneurs that are so talented in many different areas. So Dawn, thanks for commenting on there. All right,
Kim, well, thank you so much for having me, and everybody. If you need any help at all, I mean, message me on Facebook, and I'll be there.
Oh, sorry.
I am doing an event.
I said he's correcting me. I know better because I have veterans in my family. Never an ex-veteran, always a U.S. Sorry about that. See, I make mistakes all the time on here. Oh, awesome. All right. So everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thank you if you are watching live. Thank you if you are doing replay. I want to just encourage you to talk about in the comments, what was your biggest takeaway today, right? Let us know what you got out of this and what was your biggest takeaway. So again, Connie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim.
So everyone, this was an impactful show. And, you know, sometimes you just never know. I knew some of what Connie did, but this is something we all need to be doing. Whether you have a business, whether you're not have a business, you're just watching this because you have a family, or talk to you. If you work for a corporation and they don't have a preparation plan, then maybe you need to talk to them and get them in touch with Connie. So I appreciate you all. I love what I do and everything I bring here. So have a great, great day.